know what I'm saying? And been doing this, getting to a point in my life where I'm realizing that it's past time for the point just to, like survive, and it's time to thrive. It's time to get wealthy. So just pushing on that path to basically make it happen and to do what I can to share what I'm learning along the way to help other people do the same thing. And so one of the things I want to talk about this morning is something that I've been studying lately quite a bit, and that is because I'm being mentored by a multimillionaire right now. And one of the questions that we were asked was, when were you introduced with money, to money? So I want to go ahead and extend the question to you guys, just to see if we can wrap our minds around where we are and what our relationship with money is, so that we can place ourselves in a position where we can put ourselves on a path to go from where we are to where we really want to go, to from where we are to the vision that we've had when we were younger. There were questions that were asked of us at young ages. Questions like, what do you want to be when you grow up? How much money do you want to make? What kind of house you want to live in? What kind of car do you want to drive? Right? So, questions that I have that would even bring it to a deeper level is, how do you want to live when you get to that point of success that you have locked down in your mind, right? But other than that, who do you want to be? How do you see yourself interacting with the world? How do you see yourself even carrying yourself when nobody else is around, when it's just you, right? How do you see yourself um, walking around dealing with the world? And how do you see the world responding to you when it comes from your personal community, maybe your family, maybe the neighborhood where you grew up, or even when you go outside, social media, um, when you are out in public doing the things that you need to do for yourself? You know what I'm saying? How do you want the world to respond to you? Do you want people to recognize you? Do you want people to just walk past you, kind of leave you alone, right? These type of things, I don't know if we think enough about. And I say that because of the fact that oftentimes, especially people who become celebrities, they place themselves in a position where people know them, right? People know who they are because they've done some things in the movie industry, they've done some things in the music industry, they've done some things in business that make them recognizable, right? But it seems like they don't prepare themselves for life outside of their gift or their craft, because when they're operating in public, they get surprised at the feedback that they get from the general public. They get surprised from the way that people respond and react to them. One Way MV, what's going on? They get surprised by the way people react to them. And so it's obvious that they didn't prepare themselves for how the world was going to receive them. But I'm going to bring it all the way back to the original question, and that is, what was your first encounter with money? You know what I'm saying? Was it you being introduced to a fantasy character like the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus? You know what I'm saying? Um, God, that we deal with money now, okay? And it wasn't something that I really thought about in detail. Like, I really had to think back really hard when the question was asked to us. as far as our first interaction with money is concerned. And then the question goes to, what kind of household did you live in growing up? I mean, did you have parents that were very frugal? You know, did you have parents that spent money like crazy? Did your parents gamble? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things to consider, you know, when it comes to your relationship with money, because it affects how you deal with money now. It affects on how you operate when it comes to money now. And there's so many of us who we say we want to be wealthy, we say we want to be rich, you know, we say we want to have control of our financial future. And so, in order to be able to get that control, it's very important to understand what the history is, your personal history, not just dealing with your family history, but your personal history with money, because it lets us know what type of mindset we have towards money, you know, what type of emotion that we have towards money, because people actually have emotions when it comes to money as well. Like, does money make you happy? Does money make you sad? Does money give you anxiety? And a lot of times we don't think about these things. We just operate, you know, on a day-to-day basis. When you get paid, right? Whether, you know, you're in the services industry and you know, you're getting a paycheck or you're getting your tips, you know, or if you are working a job, a 9 to 5 or whatever, or you know, 5 to 9, 11 to 7, right? You're working these jobs, you're getting your check. How do you feel when you get your check? How does that make you feel? You know, does it make you feel happy? Does it make you feel sad? Does it make you angry? You know, some people, they don't feel good when they get paid, because in their mind, they're like, man, I'm just going to be giving up this check to bills anyway. So what's the point? You know what I mean? And it makes them upset. What does it do to you? What mindset does it put you in? How does it make you feel when you get money? You know, I'm interested in hearing from people. But I know myself, I grew up in a household where it was a single mom, you know, raising 5 children by herself, my 3 older sisters, and me and my little brother. And so money was tight, you know what I'm saying? And she was very responsible when it came to money. She was very responsible when it came to money. She budgeted, she clipped coupons, you know, she let us know when she couldn't afford something. Like, she wasn't gonna sugarcoat it at all. Like, she was gonna let us know. She let us know what the deal was. You know what I'm saying? If she couldn't afford something, or if we had to wait for another time to get something, we knew about it. You know, sometimes we went shopping and we would go through the aisles and get shirts and underwear, pants and socks and things of that nature, and then we wouldn't go to the cashier to check out. We would go to this section of the store which is for layaway, right? So she would let us know, we're not bringing these clothes home today. We're gonna put them on layaway. And every time she got her check, she would take us to the store and make a payment on layaway. And I remember we felt so good when it was finally time to take our stuff home. We felt so good. There were these underwear that I used to love, right? They call Underoos, t-shirt and briefs, and they were colored set. You know, the theme. You know, there's so many Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, and we always loved. Me and my little brother always loved wearing our Underoos and acting like superheroes. You know, jumping off our bed, acting like we're flying, and running around the house. You know what I'm saying? So my mother tells us to stop running or whatever. You know what I mean? And I remember those days. I remember having to delay gratification. I remember having to wait. And so, and we knew it was because, you know, the money was limited. And my mother did what she could when she could. And when she couldn't do it, she would let us know. You know, we would go to this amusement park, a small amusement park called Hoffman's Playland. And there were a certain amount of tickets my mother was able to get. We already knew, like, we wasn't going to get all the tickets we wanted to get. We weren't going to be able to ride on all the rides we wanted to get on. That just wasn't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? We know there was going to be a limited amount of tickets that were going to be purchased, and there was going to be a limited amount of rides that we were able to get on. You know what I'm saying? So in understanding that, you know, it is very it's very important to know how these things affect you. You know what I'm saying? To know how these things make you look at money now. We're reading a book called Happy Money, and the book is amazing because of the fact that it places you in position where it reminds you to be thankful of everything that you have. If you have a mindset to where nothing is enough, if you have a mindset to where, you know, nothing's fair, right? Kids playing in a playground, there's only one or two slides. Everybody's, you know, lined up to get on a slide, or the case may be, and you kind of feel like, when is it going to be my turn? You feel like it's not fair because everybody's getting on the ride and having a chance to enjoy being on the ride, but me, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And it places you in a mindset that can separate you. If you're not careful, it can separate you from success. You know what I'm saying? Um, there are times when, because of past trauma, we will act out in certain ways as adults. Because of past trauma, there, you know, people start scenes, people get into arguments, people break up with friends, you know, break up with significant others. They say about 60% of divorces happen because of finances, because the finances are not right. And so it's important for, I believe, for us to dig into the root of it, to find out where it all comes from, in order for us to be able to secure success in every aspect of our lives when we become adults. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, think about it. Think about it. What was your relationship as a child? And when you had your piggy bank, were you able to save up money and spend it however you wanted to? Were there rules? You know, only certain things that you can spend your money on? How did it go? How did it go for you? How did it go for you? And this is something that I really want to take time to think about. I'm not trying to rush through this. I'm not trying to push it. I'm not trying to force it, because I do believe it's so important for us to look back and really reflect on this, to look back and really think about this. Money thing started being in a church service, and the pastor was, the problem, a lot of people who um, are struggling with their finances, a lot of people who are poor, is the fact that they just have the wrong relationship with money. And so that kind of sparked a real thought for me. It started me on a path to start asking that question, to start exploring that, to start really looking into it, to see how my mind has been shaped when it comes to money. So I'll know what I need to work on, and I know what needs to change. You know what I'm saying? Because there are people who can spend millions of dollars with no problem. And I know that would absolutely drive some people crazy, especially if they have the mindset of there's only a certain amount in the world, so why are you wasting that? You know, their mindset could be, the person that's wasting money could be, hey, I got tons more coming in every single week, every single month, every day, every year. Doesn't matter. It's just money. And I've heard people say that it's just money. And hearing that expression, I know for some people it would make them scream. It's just money. What do you mean it's just money? Because of their past trauma, because of what they've gone through concerning money, because of what things that they had to deal with this whole money deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could have been raised in impoverished neighborhoods to where if people just find out you got a little bit of money, you know, they're ready to take your life for the little change that you got. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the hood, so there were people that were willing to do anything for money, anything. You know what I'm saying? And so we had to be careful on how we share with people, like what kind of money we had and what we had going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were certain areas you didn't walk through, you know, certain places you didn't go if you had your best gear on. You know what I mean? If you was wearing Jordans, if you had a gold chain, you know what I'm saying? If you had, you know, if you was wearing Gucci, if you was wearing, you know, certain name brands, because there are people who will literally strip you naked and take everything that's on your back. You know what I'm saying? So this money thing is a very serious subject, and I don't know if we talk about it enough. I don't know if we talk about it enough. But one powerful thing he said in his book is, he said appreciation appreciates. When you have a mindset where you're grateful, you have gratitude, you're thankful, and you say thank you. You say thank you, you know, instead of complaining. You get a cash app, right? Certain amount comes in, you hear that cash noise, and you say thank you. You don't look at the amount and be like, oh, this is it. This is not enough. Oh, this is gonna, you know, take care of blah, 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 and then it's over with. No. Show gratitude. When you show gratitude, it's going to increase your energy when it comes to positivity, right? It's going to increase your energy, and it's going to, because he said appreciation appreciates. So it's also going to increase opportunities for you, I believe. It's going to increase opportunities for you to make more money. It's going to open doors for you to make more money. It's going to put your name on people's minds when they're looking for someone to hire for a certain job, when they're looking for you. They're walking around, you know what I'm saying? And it does a lot for you. Um, and appreciating the things that you have. I don't think we do enough of that. Appreciate the things that God has given us. Appreciate the stuff that's in our hands. Like, yes, you may want more, but are you grateful for what you've already been blessed with? Yes, you may want more, but are you thankful, you know, with what you've already been given? Because if you're not thankful for what you've already been given, how would you say that what you're going to get is going to be enough, right? what kind of mindset, what kind of heart are you going to have when you get more? And when you get more, are you just going to focus on the fact that you want more than the more that you've already been given? Or are you going to show gratitude? One of the things that we love about celebrities, we love about powerful people, is when we meet the ones that are humble, when we meet the ones that say thank you, when we meet the ones that say, I really appreciate your support. I really appreciate, you know, you guys being my day ones. I really appreciate y'all being right there from the beginning. And you might say, hey, this is big name so-and-so. This is grand so-and-so, right? And they're thanking me. So what heart do you have when they do that? You want to give them more. You want to give them more. You want to support them more. You want to do more for them. And you want to do more with them because they're showing some gratitude. They're actually grateful that you supported them. They're actually grateful that you have been there for them. It's the same thing, for those of us who are parents. You have children who say thank you, right? Not only that, but they take care of the stuff that you give them, because that's another way to show gratitude. You can show ungratefulness real quickly when somebody gives you something. The next thing they're walking in your room or they're coming to your house and they're finding what they gave you on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like you don't want to give them anything else ever. But when they show gratitude, you find something that you've given them like in a great place. Like they might have put it on the mantelpiece. They might have put it on the shelf. It might be in their favorite place in their room or in their house. And you're like, oh yeah, that's the thing that I gave you. Like, and they'd say, oh yeah, I appreciate it again, man. Thank you for that. I enjoy it quite often, so on and so forth. And so when it comes time for gift giving, whether it be birthdays, holidays, things of that nature, you're thinking of that person again because of the fact that they showed gratitude for what you've done for them in the past. And I think our creator is like that when it comes to money. You know what I'm saying? It's a test to see if we're going to make money our world or if we're going to make God our world, if you're going to make God priority. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to make God number one. If we're making money number one, when it's coming in, everything's going well, we're focused on that and we're thankful for that and we're enjoying it, we're partying, we're living it up, so on and so forth. And we're not thinking about God. We're just doing us. And whatever it is that we want to do at the time, because we got the money to do whatever we want to do. Right? And then when money's low, we're down in the dumps, we're depressed, we're stressed out, we're scheming. You know what I'm saying? There's all type of things that's going on in your mind and your heart and your spirit because of the fact that, boom, it's not there the way that it was before. It's not flowing like it was before, right? But when we keep God as a priority, I want us to see this, because when your focus is money, money's up, you're up. Money's down, you're down. If we're keeping our focus on God, right, we're staying in the mindset where we're grateful, stable. We're going to, because whether money's up, we're thankful. Money's low, we're thankful. Regardless of what's going on in the bank account, regardless of what's going on in your pockets. You know what I'm saying? And it's a powerful thing to know, keeping in mind what the source of all of this is and being thankful, showing gratitude. You know what I'm saying? Every single day and in every situation. Whether you got a whole lot coming in, or you don't have so much coming in. Just showing gratitude. Just staying in that mindset, keeping that heart of gratefulness, and it's going to keep you stable. It's going to keep you steady. And what that does for you physically is it keeps you in better health, mentally, and physically, because jumping up and down, you know, your mood, your spirit, your attitude, right, your stress levels, is going to affect your heart. It's going to affect your organs. You know what I'm saying? And it may influence some bad habits, which is why some people start smoking heavily. They start drinking heavily. You know, they'll casually date to try to just find some type of escape, from the pain of what's missing, them feeling what's missing and what's not there. You know what I'm saying? And if we can place ourselves in a position where we make God the priority and we allow him to rule and we allow him to reign, and we just show, you know, him that we're thankful. And here's another thing. When you have it, you'll know what to do with it, to the point where it has a potential to grow, to the point where it has a potential to go in its proper place to do what it needs to do. You'll send your money on a mission to either make your life better or to make somebody else's life better when you make God the priority. When money's the priority, you're going to do whatever feels good, right? You're going to do whatever makes you feel some kind of way at the time. But here's what happens when money is low, but God is the priority. You're not going to focus on the money being low. You're going to focus on what God has promised you. You're going to speak according to what God has promised you. You're going to spend or invest according to what God has promised you. And, you know, some people may not be in agreement because they might say, hey, you know, I know what your money situation is right now. You're not in a position to invest right now. You're not in a position to, you know, be given to charity or things of that nature. But God might instruct you to do it when you don't have it, or when it doesn't seem like it because of what's manifested in the natural. And that's what we can't let trick us. Because God is the same yesterday, today, and forever, right? And the truth stays the same and can always be proven at any given time. But we know the facts always change. So if we're just focused on the facts, but we're not focused on the God of the facts, right? And we're not focused on the truth, then we're going to be on an emotional roller coaster. We're going to be on a spiritual roller coaster. We're going to be unstable. We're going to be unstable. So our stability is being rooted and grounded in God. Our stability is being rooted and grounded. Promise never to gives us the power to get wealth and cause no sorrow. You know, the one who puts every dollar in our pocket, but also the one who puts breath in our body, the one that puts air in our lungs, the one who regulates the flow of our blood, right? The one who regulates our heartbeat every single day, and that's God. So if we keep him as a priority, then we'll never be stressed about money. If we keep him as a priority, we'll always know what to do with the money that we get. And we'll always know what to do with the flow of money, whether it's desirable or whether it's a flow that we don't desire. you know what I'm saying, will always know what to do, will always be in a position of power. You know what I'm saying? So I really hope this helps somebody. You know, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to keep this live, but I hope this helps somebody because of the fact that when we have the right relationship with money, and this talk is basically to spark the thought, not to get super deep into it, but when we have the right relationship with money, we have the right mindset towards money, and if we can remember how this all started, we can get a grip, we can get control of where this goes, you know, from this point on. Understanding, oh, I had that mindset because something happened, you know, when I was 5 years old, or the way that I grew up, or the way I seen my mother handle money, the way I seen my father handle money, the way I've been taught by my uncle, or things of that nature. You know, Robert Kiyosaki had a rich dad and a poor dad. You know what I'm saying? And so he learned things about money, things about investing, things about business, things about real estate, from having these two examples, you know, and have shared his examples with the world and has become wealthy, you know, based on what he shared only. And then outside of that, you know, he made tons of money making good business decisions. You know what I'm saying? Dude owns gold mines. Like, that's out of this world crazy in a good way. You know what I'm saying? He owns gold mines, bro. And so that takes a whole different level of energy. It takes a whole different spirit. It takes a whole different mindset to place yourself in a position where you're owning gold mines. So understand there's a lot of things in this world that are not going to move the needle forward. There's a lot of things in this world that we're spending money on like crazy as a society that's not going to make us rich. It's never going to make us rich. So it's important for us to understand the difference between spending and investing. Because when you're spending money, it's just going out the window. It's over with, it's done. You might have spent money on goods or service. Once the service is over, that's it. It's the end of it. Once the goods are purchased, you know, that's it and the end of it. And then you have the life of the goods that you purchased, you know, and you're just dealing with that. You know, if you keep it, it lasts as long as it lasts until it's over. If you give it away or throw it away, it's gone forever. But when you make investments and you make smart investments, you can make returns that keep coming. You can mess around and stumble upon some returns or strategically plan some returns that'll keep coming for the rest of your life and for the rest of the life of generations to come. So that's the difference between spending and investing. So we have to think about the things that are going to give us a return. Now is a great time more than ever to learn about the stock market, to learn when to invest in the stock market.